When you get towards the end of a warp on a loom, and there's not much thread left, what you'll start to notice is that threads come undone from the bar that you've tied them onto. This can often be where there's been a broken thread that I would have pulled out of the warp. The other thread, basically because the threads are made in a continuous loop on the warping mill, if a broken thread is pulled out, then eventually there won't be anything left to balance the thread that's left in the loom. So what I do is I go through the warp and check for tension issues. You can kind of tell when you're weaving if a thread is pulling or moving up front. What you should do is just follow that back to the back of the loom. Then you just kind of tug at it gently until it comes off the stick that it's tied onto. And then I use weights with little hooks on them, like this here. And I just basically tie that weight onto the loose thread, or if there's a few loose threads together, I'll just pull that bunch out and tie that. That allows me to continue weaving without having to take the time to pull a new thread all the way through the heddles. And then as we get to the end, we're going to be under a bit of pressure on this scarf in terms of the warp thread left. So this can be a handy system because we can consolidate these, and then we can kind of move the frame closer. Basically, we can tie the weights further up here, which means that we get a little bit more at warp than we would normally. Here's what we've woven so far on this. Now, this is an old loom, and I have sanded and polished and waxed this square beam at the front. What I would advise with any weaving is that this part here be a freely moving rubberized wheel that's completely smooth. So what I've done to counteract the roughness of the wood, even though I've sanded it, it's still going to have a little bit of roughness left. So I've taken a triple satin silk, which is both very, very smooth and quite thick, so it has a little bit of absorbency, which means that it takes in all the kind of imperfections in the wood, and it stops issues arising here. So you'll notice that the structure of the threads doesn't get pulled or tugged. You'll notice that there's little where are we? Yes, here. There's little tension issues on the where the cashmere threads are. And again on the brown ones here. They're a little less stretchy than the silk, so you can see that they're slightly tighter. That's not really a problem, because when we're weaving it, we're weaving pretty straight, and it's only a tiny bit of waviness. So we haven't noticed any. That hasn't had a major effect. Just show you the structure there. This is a new design. This is a present for somebody that Ed is working on, and it's basically this design here. So it's kind of a plain weave where we leave out a triangle, and that results in little triangles there. They're almost like little harps on the fabric.